Okay, so with 2019 just round the corner and hi-rez supposedly changing their focus over to polish, I thought it'd be fun to make a video on bugs. Now we know that there's way too many bugs in this game for me to fit into one video, so I've done a personal top 10 list of what I feel are the priorities to get fixed. The reason they're priorities is because bullshit, and they more or less can cause unfair losses. Now, like I say, this is a personal list. I may have missed some game-breaking bugs that you know of that I don't, so be sure to leave them in the comments below. But otherwise, here's number 10. We've got Lians Presence. This one has been around for a while. hi-rez has also tried to fix this a few times. It was supposed to actually be fixed in this patch, but it's not. So here it is on number 10. You're actually not in this situation too often, but it does happen enough to be annoying, and you're also missing that 800 damage. The way this works is that if you're trying to shoot a target and there's something in front of you, even if the target isn't actually obscured and you've got your crosshair directly over them, the presence won't register. So if you come across this situation, just be careful. Your presence isn't going to work, you're going to waste 800 damage. Number 9, Terminus. Now this one's actually not so bad once you know about it, but it's the fact that when you first ever come across it, it confuses the crap out of you because you don't know where Terminus is going to ult. This is the bug where Terminus floats around whilst he's ulting, but the actual area of effect or the explosion stays where he died. And if your entire team is seeing this for the very first time and you're all flailing, it's pretty funny to watch, but it can flip the game and get you killed when you shouldn't have been. So yeah guys, if you're an Andro main like me, just make sure if you ever see this, stay focused and watch where he died. Number 8, we've got the indicators for explosives, like Viktor's grenade, Skye's ultimate, or Bomb King's grumpy bomb. The bug applies to all these. I've seen this all happen. Basically, it's very inconsistent. It can show as yellow and hit you, or it can show as red and not touch you at all, be miles away. But something like this, especially if it's a grumpy bomb, can really throw you off. Should I keep running? Am I safe here? Is it going to get me around the corner? So it's more annoyances rather than anything. But at number 8, because it can happen frequently enough to consistently affect your gameplay. Now, those of you who know about this one, you just know about this one. But for those of you who don't, it's kind of hard to explain with these clips. But basically what's going on is that I'm sliding around, it's very difficult to control. And in-game it's actually much more choppy, so it's difficult to see what's going on. This is what you look like when you put yourself in third person, but also what my girlfriend told me whilst we're in that game is that I was actually looking invisible, which I often actually see happen from the other perspective where Terminus is on the other team. You have to die to reset and get yourself normal again. And obviously if you're having to die just to get back to normal, this is a huge disadvantage in the game, especially when it can happen more than once. This is the best bit though, what the fuck am I seeing? Number 6, crowd control reduction causing ultimates to cancel. I'm using Androxus as an example. I don't want to use more Terminus examples of where his ult is not working or forcing him to trigger. But Androxus I'd say is a particularly bad one because if you go into the air ready to do an ult and then all of a sudden get cancelled, you get dropped right into the crowd that you're about to frag and you're most likely going to get killed. The most annoying thing about this bug as well is that you cannot use your ult again until you die. So I think this deserves a number 6 place because the effect is on an ultimate and it can completely shut down a situation like a point fight or a push, or essentially any critical situations. For number 5, I couldn't get any footage for this, but this is the Chatbox error where once you get into a game, no matter how much you try to type, your message won't actually go into the game lobby. And this seems to affect everyone in your team as well. So you're relying on VGS or voice commands or using the mic. And really, how often do you get people using the mics? So the reason I've put this at number 5 is because of the team-wide impact that it has. Because most people rely on messages in the lobby to communicate strategy or where the problem lies or what you want to do next. If you're not able to get this message out effectively, then that's going to damage your team over the course of the game. Number 4, Skye's surprise attack. I wasn't too sure where to place this one because you don't actually see it often, and I don't believe there is a way to reproduce it, or at least I don't think anyone's found a way to reproduce this because you don't see it very often at all. Most likely because surprise attack sucks, but this is why I placed it as number 4 because it is by far the most broken thing I have ever seen on this game, but it's cushioned by the fact that no one's actually reproducing it very often. If you haven't figured what's going on in the clip, this Skye is using the surprise attack talent, which gives you 500 damage on your first shot out of stealth. But what's happening here is that this Skye is getting the first shot and every fucking subsequent shot afterwards with 500 damage. So yeah, super broken. And if this was ever to be reproduced consistently, it would be the most broken thing ever and would require immediate attention. But for the time being, we're putting it at number 4. Number 3 is the no reg issue. Now I heard that this is on a few champions. The one I'm familiar with is on Bombking. Sometimes when you're using your left click, damage just doesn't register. The reason this is number 3 is because it's persistent throughout the entire game. You can't stop this from happening. And it's also on your main source of damage throughout the entire game. I don't think this affects Bombking when you land and stick your bombs. The problem is when you detonate the bombs around champions. At first I just thought I was being salty because I do suck with Bombking, but now I have my own proof and I've seen videos from other people as well that it does exist. So hi-rez, some attention on this one please, thank you. Number 2 is going to be the Shalin frame rate issue. I managed to recreate this one in a bot fight, and you can see that I'm consistently dropping in frame rate, sometimes going down to 30 frames, often down to 60. I'm not sure if there's a method to recreating this, but it appears that frame rate gets worse as you progress through the match. I have a sneaky suspicion that it's something to do with buying both Wrecker and Nimble, because in this bot match, the frame rate issues started happening just at that point. But I've not got 100% certainty. I might try again later with different scenarios. Now the reason this is the number 2 spot over Bombking, I mean they both persist throughout the entire game, but the difference for Shalin is that he has a much slower fire rate and he's way more invested in each one of his shots than Bombking is. So to have that kind of fluctuation on your frame rates between 15 frames to 175 is near enough a death sentence. So my advice to you guys is, if you're going to play Shalin, don't play him on maps like Brightmarsh, because Brightmarsh already has its own problem with its frame rates. So that on top of the Shalin bug, it's going to be GG. Now there can only be one bug that's worse than this, and I don't care what bugs you guys come up with, there's nothing worse than this, because this is a bug and it's also an exploit. Our number 1 is the Viktor fire rate bug. Well, fire rate and perfect accuracy. Right now I'm showing you a clip of me playing this in a bot game. The Viktor bug definitely had to be a bot game, because I'm here to demonstrate what the bug and the exploit do, not to actually exploit it. I'm not going to tell you how to do the exploit, but I'll tell you the effect of it. You essentially gain perfect accuracy, as in there is no recoil whilst you're using iron sights, and you can also get stupid fast fire rate. This isn't a visual or audio bug either, this is genuine. I can show you now with a split screen of the ordinary fire rate and also the boosted fire rate. On the left we've got the faster fire rate, on the right we've got the normal fire rate. Just pay attention to the number count of the ammo and you'll see that on the left side it empties out quicker than on the right. The difference is only by 6 ammo, but trust me, reload after reload the effects do stack up. Plus you're getting this on top of other benefits as well, because you don't need to use any of the loadout cards to get the perfect accuracy for this. But to top it off, now I wish I recorded the audio for this, but I'm an idiot, I didn't, and now I don't have the time to do it. But basically, if you get top play, or if you're in a spectator cam, and you're watching this cheating bastard, you can't actually see from the spectator mode that the bug is happening, because even the spectator mode is bugged whilst it's watching Viktor. So whilst you're using the exploit, whoever is spectating you can only hear the audio and see the visuals of the correct fire rate. This is a complete win-win for those who are using the exploit, because they can use it happily without actually getting discovered. So this has got to be the number 1 worst bug in the game that needs full attention of hi-rez. I'm sure you agree, I hope you agree, and I hope those of you who are watching this are not trying to find the bug so you can exploit, and will help to actually report and get this fixed. I wish I had the influence of other content creators to get hi-rez's attention on something like this, but unfortunately not. So if you guys could help out in reporting, that would be awesome. And with that, we're at the end of the top 10 list. I don't know how people do these lists every week, it's a bloody effort. I hope you guys enjoyed and got something out of this. It's fun making it, I hope it was a lot different, and yeah, let's just hope 2019 is a better year for bugs. So guys, as always, thanks for watching, I'm out, I will see you in another video next time. Take care.